Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your wonderful support for my first episode yesterday. Today, I'm going to briefly talk about a kind of observation I discovered yesterday, which really surprised me. And I have this constant worry, and I have this constant fear of not being successful. And it's a common theme that I'm trying to work through. And so the belief is, I don't feel I'm successful, right? It comes quite often. And I don't know if you can also relate to this where, all the obvious signs around you, maybe your loved ones say, hey, you did really well. But then you say, yeah, but, and you compare X, Y, and Z. And I'm sure that if you are feeling this or you do feel this, you're not the only one. Because I speak to many people in my DMs. And so basically, it's the feeling that I'm not successful and I'm not successful because. And yesterday I realized and I sat and observed that feeling of not being successful, that comes from a voice. And I questioned, where did that voice come from? Why do I need to do X to be successful? Why has that become my definition of success? And you have to ask yourself, right? Why do you need to earn X amount from your corporate job in order to be successful in your eyes? And where does that voice come from? And where did that standard come from, right? And so for me, I actually realized yesterday there were a variety of places that a voice came from, but I identified it came from two main areas. And you're going to laugh. Don't laugh if you hear this, because it sounds really petty. But actually, the first one has been a lot of voices I heard on Twitter, right? So I've gone off Twitter. I have had really bad experiences on Twitter. I never really was on Twitter. I went on for a year, made amazing connections, but I really got attacked by quite a few, not physically, but obviously I would get DMs, saying we're going to hack your site. And then my site did get hacked. And I constantly felt like I was walking on eggshells. And part of me thinks maybe, wow, I'm too soft and a bit of a weakling. But part of me was also, listen, I've never really been on Twitter. I've never really needed Twitter. And my other platforms bring me more joy. So I just dropped it. And so back to the kind of voice in my head, where those voices come from on you're not successful until. And I realized that voice comes from some of these Twitter bros, okay? And so sometimes when I would share some tips and my income reports on Twitter, they would say, yeah, but you didn't make $100,000 from your blog. Or I'd see also them tearing other bloggers down. They say someone made $10,000 from their blog. They're like, yeah, but can you really be talking about your tips until you make X amount? And I felt there was a kind of consensus, not consensus, but there was a consistent voice on these idiotic Twitter bros saying, you don't deserve to teach or speak unless you have made X amount. You're not a true success. Your blog is not a true success until your blog has made X amount. And I must have internalized that, even though I must have just observed it. I must have internalized that and said, well, how can I say that I'm successful when my blog only made this amount? And it's quite important for me to understand that and realize that, because do I really want the voice of a Twitter bro to determine and dictate my life? And the same with you. When you sit down and you ask yourself, where did that voice come from? Oh, you need to get this promotion. You need to buy this house. You need to do that. You ask yourself, whose voice is that? And you might be surprised. It could be some old farty uncle that likes to criticize you. It could be some auntie who manages to be passive aggressive and throw in insults during compliments. Just take a moment then and ask yourself, where does that voice come from? Okay? And do you want that voice to dictate your happiness and your decisions nowadays? And number two, I realized that voice came from, I had a really toxic online friendship I developed. I could talk about it in another episode if you want. If you leave a comment, let me know if I can discuss this. But I got embroiled. Embroiled. What kind of word is embroiled? And this girl, at the beginning, she was amazing, but I had to eventually step away because it all came to a head, but I realized late now that she was extremely toxic. But, she would slide into my messages every morning, and say things like, oh, have you seen so-and-so? She's making X. Are you making X? Are you doing Y? And I don't know, like little comments here and there, little constant comparisons and constant questions. And, oh, but then is your blog making X? And I realized that because she became an online friend, we spoke to each other every day. I must have kind of internalized that too. And so I just wanted to share that today, that, if you for the longest time have felt like, oh, I'm not, even though if you've improved even from yesterday or last year, look at yourself last year. Have you improved? Hey, you're doing well, man. You're doing awesome. I know it's cliche. They say, you need to compare yourself to yourself. I hear that all the time. But I think we need to take a moment. If you're constantly feeling you beat yourself up and like, oh, I'm not successful because I don't do this and I don't do that, I want you to ask yourself, actually, is that the success that you want? Is that a voice in your head? And another big point here that I want to talk about is this definition of success. And I actually thought about that yesterday, because you might have defined success as, oh, I secure a corporate job that earns this amount, my blog makes X amount, or you might have a monetary figure in your head. I'm successful when I have this house, have this much investments. But remember, success could have many areas, right? Because we are human beings. We are wonderful human beings that are rounded in many areas. And, success could come in the relationships with your family and your loved ones and your partner, your friends. Success could come in your physical health. Success could be in your spiritual health, your mental health. And I sat down yesterday and I said, okay, so first of all, I need to change the benchmark that I've been telling myself all this time. I should be making X. But that's just one area of success. That's just one not tiny, it's quite a big part to me. It's an area of your life. But I bet you, if you take a look at your life now, you are successful in many areas. I'm pretty sure that you are successful with your relationships with your loved ones, I'm sure that you are successful. Perhaps you have a pet and you're really loving with your pet. It could be you have a really close relationship with God if you believe in that. And it could be that you're super fit. It could be that you are prioritizing travel and experiences this year, and that's success, And so I want you to take a moment and step back and not measure yourself by one small yardstick, because success could be so much broader than one area. And I'm sure that if you take a step back and look at yourself compared to last year, you are succeeding. And also if you realize that, if you shouldn't compare yourself, but if you do want to compare yourself, I'm sure there are many areas that you are more well-rounded in. Because some people who are excessively successful, let's just say these people that they talk about, they make millions from their blogs. I'm not saying that they're not well-rounded. I'm saying that often when you prioritize and focus on one area only, you have to neglect. It generally leads to you neglecting other areas, and that falling behind. Often when you read about autobiographies of people who are hugely successful in their corporate job, it came at a cost. It came at a huge cost. Time with family, health. Those are two huge bits of my definition of success. Okay, so today I want you to just take a moment and ask yourself, what is your version of success? Not what this old, bitchy auntie told you years ago. What is your version of success that you think will make you happy? And number two is, what are areas that you're successful in? Not just one tiny area that you're comparing yourself to. What are the different areas that actually you've moved forward? And I would just take a paper and put physically, mentally, emotionally, I have a little pie chart and said, oh, actually, compared to last year, I've moved forward in those areas. Okay? I just wanted to share that this morning. Thank you so much for listening. And if you want me to share any other ideas, this is a new podcast, let me know. Thanks for listening.